So we're going to get into the NFC South preview. And who do we have in the NFC South? We have the Falcons, Buccaneers, Saints, and also the Panthers. Now, this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how you want to start this off, gentlemen, man. I'm going to let y'all go ahead and kick your thing off. Mr. Jones, MT, how you want to start it?
Yeah, first of all, let's introduce our guest as well, calling all the way from Germany, sir, all the way from Europe. Russell, what's going on, sir?
Hey, how's it going, man? How everybody doing today?
Hey, man, we're
doing pretty good, man.
Another year,
man. Pretty good.
For all the new listeners that don't know, Russell is Russell Bowman Jr. He's the truth. He's a bodybuilder over there in Europe. Arnold Schwarzenegger ain't got nothing on him, okay? Nothing. All right? So this guy, he is a lifetime Bucs fan. He's always loved the Bucs. I remember we used to tease him when the Bucs went and got Brad Johnson and everything for quarterback after he failed at Washington and everything, but they were somehow able to squeeze out a championship with good old Gruden. However, we had Russell last year, so we got him this year. We're just trying to keep it consistent, sir. So, Mr. Bowman Jr., sir, what is the breakdown of the division, starting at the team that will finish last in the division, going all the way up to the first?
Well, after recently what happened with a certain team's quarterback situation, I'm going to have to say, let's start with the Carolina Panthers. They're going to finish last. I mean, Cam Newton, he isn't. He recently got injured, if I'm not mistaken. Hasn't been 100%. But looking at their off-season moves, I will say that their defense, especially their defensive line, is going to be dangerous with the addition of Gerald McCoy, which really hurt me for us to lose him. The addition of Bruce Irvin. They got rookies. They're going to be deep at DN. They got a rookie defense end, Brian Burns, the edge rusher Christian Miller. On the defensive side of the ball, they'll be good. And let's not forget Luke Kuechly, still handling his business in the middle of the field. So I mean, the Carolina Panthers, their defense they'll be their strong suit. However, offensively, without a healthy Cam Newton, I don't really see, and then also them losing their best receiver in Devin Funchess, I really don't see them doing too much on the offensive side of the ball with all that firepower that the NFC South has on the offensive side. So I really think the Carolina Panthers they'll finish dead last in the division with a record of, I give them about 6-10.
Okay.
So do you give them 6-10 because they were placed in the Bucs for this season? But I'm gonna let you explain a little bit further. I'm gonna come back to that question now.
Oh, so we're moving to the third place. Okay, so third place, I would say I wish I wasn't saying this, but my beloved Bucs are probably finishing in third place, and I would not be surprised. Let me just forewarn everybody right now. Jameis Winston is on even thinner ice than he was at the beginning of the offseason, and here's why. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Ryan Griffin has been balling this preseason. He's been leading the team. He's been leading the team in touchdown passes this preseason. He's been leading the team in completion percentage. And he's been outplaying. He's been outplaying everybody this current preseason. The offensive side of the ball, I mean, we still have questions on the offensive line from what I've seen recently against the Browns. The offensive line just got exposed, and Jameis had nowhere to run, nowhere to go against that Browns defensive line. But on the offensive side of the ball, I don't think they'll really miss a beat at the running back position. Can't remember the guy's name. Ogulwale, I believe that's his name. He's been doing a really good job. I mean, I feel like he should be the starter at running back. I mean, he's the only guy that could hit the hole, make guys miss, carry a couple guys with him. he'll do some damage up there at running back. And on the defensive side of the ball, I've seen the corners. The corners are looking decent this off season. After they have no choice but to get better because they were the worst secondary in the league last season. But on the defenses, but the front seven, the linebacker position, they're switching to a 3-4 now, where you have three down linemen and 4 linebackers, which would be a perfect package for Devin White because he's an athletic linebacker. So I would say on the defense side, I have no choice but to get better. But I would say the Bucs will finish. I would give them. At the very worst, I would give them 7-9. At the very best, I could see them winning 9 games. I could see them sneaking out 9 games, due to the fact that they have outside of the division, they have to play teams in the NFC West, which is not that strong of a division. But I could see the Bucs either finishing at best 9-7, at the very least 7-9. And second place team, I would say Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are always dangerous on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side, well, they let go of Tevin Coleman's gone. That was a big loss for them. But they did pick up Kenyon Barnes and Luke Stalker. Made a lot of moves on the offensive line, which was their weak point last season. Adrian Claiborne's back. He was always a good DN. I still wish we had him down in Tampa. I could see the Falcons. I could see the Falcons winning 10 games. I could see them going 10-6. And the division winner, the New Orleans Saints are the class of the division until someone dethrones them. They lost a couple people this off season with Alex Okafor gone, Mark Ingram's gone, but they did pick up Latavius Murray, who's a very underrated running back, huge guy.
Yeah.
They picked up Mario Edwards, Jared Cook. I can see the Saints. The Saints can probably win maybe, I would say at the very best, 13 games, at the very least 11 games.
Okay.
And that was hard for me to admit because, oh, my God, I cannot stand the Saints or the Falcons.
Your turn, MC. All right, no problem. Our list is somewhat similar, but I'll go through it. So, number 4, just like last year, unfortunately, I do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I felt like they didn't address some needs in offense during the draft. I feel like Jameis needs just a little bit more protection out there. And they have Ndamukong Suh, which we know that he can wreak havoc when he's focused. To me, Peyton, I heard you mention the other guy, Alawanle or something, but to me, Peyton Barber is your clear number 1 running back. This guy has continued to improve over the years. This will be I believe he's going into his 4th season of the league or his 3rd season. First year, he didn't cut 500 yards, but last year he had almost 900 yards at almost 4 yards a carry. So he's definitely shown that he's ready to take on a heavier load and be that number 1 guy for you all. Number 3, and for the Bucs, I'm looking for you all to go either 6-10 or 7-9. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably lean more towards 6-10. Just because Jameis just finds a way to get in his own way. Number 3, the Carolina Panthers. They did pick up Gerald McCoy and added some more depth on defense. What I don't appreciate that the Carolina Panthers didn't do is they didn't, and I get that they have some young talent at the wide receiver position, but they are sticking with their guns at wide receiver. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe they should go out and get one more wide receiver that can help Cam, because you can't put everything on Christian McCaffrey and Greg Olsen. Christian McCaffrey, we know he could come through, but Greg Olsen has been battling injuries for the last few seasons. Ask any fantasy owner out there, hell, ask the Carolina Panthers. Curtis Samuel, is decent. DJ Moore, to me, is their number one receiver. And his catch percentage is 67.2%, which is about around the league average of about, I think the league average is about 65 to 68% when it comes to catch percentage for a wide receiver. When you look at a lot of the best out there, that's usually what they come around. And he had 800 yards receiving last year. So I need for him to have a 1,000-yard season. But the Carolina Panthers, yes, I'm looking for them to probably go 7-9 this season, especially with Cam's injuries. We don't even know if he's going to finish the season. Again, they beefed up on defense. We know that defense can win some games. But with Cam being in question, it's a lot to think about. Cam's health being in question. With the Atlanta Falcons, yes, they did get rid of Tevin Coleman, but now they do have Ito Smith, and he's going to be the backup to Devontae Freeman, which Ito, he's not bad. He's decent, but we're going to see if he can fit in that running back committee or that two running back system. And to be honest, that team didn't get much better in the offseason. I know they added a couple pieces on defense, and like you mentioned, Russell, they did I think they made some acquisitions on the offensive line side. But this was already a good team. They have a great receiving core. It's not even good. It's great. They have a three-headed monster at receiving core with Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, and now Calvin Ridley, who also came from Alabama, I believe. So he's definitely a solid number 3 receiver. And to be honest, if he has he had a pretty good rookie campaign. If he has an even better sophomore campaign, it actually may be some trouble in Atlanta unless they could convince these guys that, hey, this can work. We can all win a championship and we can all get along, because I know this guy is going to want to be the man, something similar to how Juju Smith-Schuster was in Pittsburgh. He didn't backstab Antonio Brown or anything, but he wanted to be that number 1 guy. And like we mentioned a couple weeks ago when we reviewed the AFC North, now he gets the chance to be that guy. So I see Calvin Ridley having that same attitude within the next 2 seasons. And then number 1, the New Orleans Saints. Yes, they definitely added some offensive weapons. Russell mentioned earlier that they had Latavius Murray and Jared Cook. Jared Cook is the tight end that came from the Oakland Raiders. I believe that Drew Brees will definitely be able to utilize him better and make an impact. And another running back that they use in case if there is a injury to Kamara or Latavius Murray is Jacquizz Rodgers. Is he somebody that's going to run in between the tackles? No. But is he somebody that's good to use in the passing game? Absolutely. So them adding Jacquizz Rodgers as well as that third running back on the depth chart is pretty good. So I have the New Orleans Saints winning that division. I have them going 12-4 this season and winning that division. I do have the Atlanta Falcons going 9-7 this season, and I have them going 10-6, and I do have them getting a wild card spot for the NFC.
All right. This one hard because it's one of the tougher divisions in football. I mean, I think this one, the NFC East and the AFC North are the toughest divisions. And this division, they're definitely going to beat each other up. So it's going to be pretty close. But who I got in fourth? I got the Carolina Panthers. So there's too many question marks. Don't get me wrong. Christian McCaffrey is going to dominate fantasy again, but that's about it. I think Cam Newton's foot injury, I mean, he's mobile. I mean, that's his mobility. So I think that's going to really hinder them throughout the season. And also, I think the defense is pretty good. They hold up and everything, but the offense ain't going to score enough points. They might average like 20 to 24 points a game, especially if Cam at 100%. So I got them going 6-10, last place. Third place, I got Tampa Bay. I kind of really love the addition of Sue. especially for run stopping and everything. And let's be honest, I mean, they was a bad kicker away from being a playoff team, like I believe, like the past couple of seasons. I think their defense is always formidable, so I think the Bucs will try to make a push for the playoffs, but I think they're going to fall short. I think they're going to go 7-9, 8-8, maybe.
Now, hold on, wait. Not to cut you off about the Bucs, but just keep an eye out for that defensive line. That defensive line could possibly want to be one of the best in football with Ryan Nassib, who was pretty good. Who's pretty good at getting to the quarterback on one side, William Golson on the other, Dominican Sue in the middle. Just wanted to throw that out there, but all right, I'll let you proceed.
Yes. And number 2, it's hard because the Falcons can make a push to win the division, but I don't think they're going to win it. I think it's the Saints division to really lose, but I do got the Falcons making the push at like 10-6, maybe 11-5, because they win them shootouts. They can win them close games, but it's all about how Matt Ryan played in them close games, because I believe, the defense can do enough to keep it in reach every game, but the offense is going to have to win it. And I think they have a powerful enough offense with that 3-hitter monster like MT explained. But the thing that hindered the Falcons last year, and it might do it again this year, is the injury bug. Like, we got to see Sanu stay healthy. We got to see Freeman stay healthy. And that may hinder them, especially during the playoff stretch, like late in the season. So I got them going 10-6. And, I mean, sky's the limit for the Saints. I mean, they're one of the 8 teams every year that possibly could be a threat for the Super Bowl, especially with the addition of Jared Cook. That's the best tight end he had since Jimmy Graham. And we know what he can do with tight ends. So I think Drew Brees is going to have another great season, probably 4,500 or more yards, 40 touchdowns. He's going to have an incredible season, I believe. And I got the Saints going 11-5, maybe 12-4. And Falcons are going to get a wild card spot. I believe that as well. But if it is a sleeper team or a threat, it is Tampa Bay, though. But like you said,
Okay.
Mike, he just can't get in his own way. He can't get in his own way.
This is what I have to say over everything. And this is what I really want to ask. So I see that Buccaneers may have a chance of taking it, because I see the Panthers in Atlanta usually tying it. Usually they may be coming out the same round, like 8-8. I mean, Atlanta has like one of the toughest schedule, at least one of the top 10 schedules, toughest top 10 schedules in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can produce, they'll be pretty good. So, I mean, without that out the way, it comes down to the Panthers and the Bucs. Now, without Cam producing, because he can only win games when he's really healthy. And then as far as this Buccaneers offense, too, and their new coach, what is that, Bruce Arians? If I'm not, Arians? Okay, so that coming in, I mean, because I know that somebody said that they needed a new push. So if he needed a new push, and with this new coach coming in and probably giving up offensive schemes, could that possibly change? Could they be tied with Atlanta and then the Panthers really be having like their down season?